Now you should be able to hear me. That was just a preview because a lot of things have changed. For those of you who were very good on your duties and you printed out your worship bulletin for today, you'll notice some changes. Work schedules got changed. It is the season for colds and flu, and so some of our people are not here because of that, including the Heather and Ray's family. Little Zara's flu test came back positive, and then 2 more children come down with fever, so they're not here. And so that's just the way of the season, isn't it? So when you see changes, that's just what it is. We will be singing the traditional version of the Lord's Prayer song when that comes, because John is still recovering as well. So just be full of the Spirit, right? We lean into the gifts we have. But I'm Reverend Sharon Tier, and I welcome you here to First Congregational Church of Paris, United Church of Christ. And it is wonderful. We serve, you know the final count on the number of meals, Ray? 250 meals went to our community, our neighbors and seniors and things, yes, in conjunction with our community partners of CMI and Rotary, and of course Scouts were our backbone of this. And, Ray cooked turkeys literally all night Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And so I want to thank you for everyone who made food donations and cash donations and cooked turkeys. And we're here on Thursday to mash potatoes or peel potatoes or serve up the food. Hopefully you saw some of the photos of that in this week's email. But that was wonderful. It's an important ministry that we do with our community partners here at First Congregational Church of Paris. And so we celebrate that. Just a few announcements is we will resume our Tuesday study. We make the road by walking. It is led by Ray Hawkins and Linda Ryan. So that's Tuesdays at 11 a.m. And everyone is always welcome to that. This coming up Saturday, December 3rd, is our church beautification morning. I think we're starting at 7:30, right? And so come on out. Of course, you want to wear a sweatshirt because it's chilly in the mornings, right? And inside and outside jobs, there's always plenty to do just to be good stewards of the property we've been entrusted with. And of course, today is the first Sunday of Advent. So people are thinking about Christmas Eve service. Yes, there'll be Christmas Eve service on Christmas Eve at 6:30. Christmas Eve is on a Saturday. That means Christmas Day is Sunday. That's how that works. And so Christmas Eve service will be in here at 6:30. And the next morning, we will have a Christmas brunch together at our fellowship hall. And just have a more casual time of fellowship and breaking bread together on that Christmas morning. Now, of course, we are thankful for so much. We have been given stewards of this property on the land and this array of people, and we give thanks for that. And where we can worship, where we can do service, where we can learn about the way, the Jesus, and where no matter who you are or where you are in life's journey, you are welcome here. And because we want to give our children enough time to learn their studies in Children's Circle, we will begin now with the lighting of our Advent candle. And since Lorelei is ill, Lorraine's going to help me out with that. Today, on this first Sunday of Advent, we light the prophecy candle. And think about the hope that is already bright. The prophets wrote that Christ's incarnation long before his birth. We hear their words, we remember our shortcomings and our need of strength. In Isaiah chapter 40, verses 1 through 5, we are given these words of hope. Comfort, comfort, my people, says our God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and proclaim to her that her hard service has been completed, that her sin has been paid for, that she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins. A voice of one calling in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. The rough land shall become level, the rugged places aflame. And the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all the people will see it together. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken. May the peace that passes all understanding be with you all. You are invited to pass a peace to men and you are comfortable. And you may be seated as we gather in an attitude of prayer. Oh God, as we gather together in the season of Advent, anticipating hope, praying for peace, attempting to cultivate joy and share love amidst emotion, grief, despair, and uncertainty. We call out aloud and silently now the situations and people in need of your healing intervention. Evans family and all those suffering from us. Let's speak together. We pray. Let's pray. A God of hope, in a world full of hopelessness, we have sometimes forgotten that you are our hope, dear God. We become consumed by the chaos of the world. We lean into helplessness instead of your loving embrace. We cling to the stony roads and the bitter rods, felt in days when unborn hope had died. We've forgotten that you promised us hope for a future. So stimulate our memory, O God. Remind us of the hope you assured us of. Be with us as we cling to it in the midnight hours of waiting. Hear us now as we sing the prayer, Jesus prayer. be prepared now as we prepare our hearts and our spirits for the hearing of God's message for the day. Let us pray. Holy breath of God, help us to welcome your message and your living word, and allow it to work in us so that we may take it with us for the building of your kingdom. May I decrease and you increase, O God, so the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts are pleasing and acceptable to you. Amen. A well-loved philosopher would have celebrated his 100th birthday this weekend had he not passed into life eternal 22 years ago. This well-loved philosopher is the reason we have the character of the Great Pumpkin in our culture. The Great Pumpkin was the manifestation of the confusion that Linus, arguably the most intelligent of Venus characters, had because of the commercialization of Christmas that begins in October, well before Halloween. Charles Schulz used the Great Pumpkin as a representation of what harm could come from the overly hyped commercialization of Christmas. Linus believed that on Halloween night, the Great Pumpkin would appear at a sincere pumpkin patch and deliver toys to good children from his big bag. Linus believed this to such a degree that he went door to door proselytizing about the Great Pumpkin. No one could convince him he was wrong. Not Charlie Brown, not his older sister Lucy, not even his adoring Sally. Even after Linus spent yet another Halloween night in a pumpkin patch and woke up to no evidence of the Great Pumpkin, he continued to believe, much to his own detriment and degradation of his own reputation. Linus refused to listen to the wisdom of those sent to him. Now, our scriptures are filled with folks who get so wrapped up in their own confusion and the deceit of others that they struggle with listening to the wisdom of the prophets sent to them to help them rescue them from their wayward ways. Prophets to direct them to the ways of being truly alive. To be alive is to desire, to hope, and to dream. Being alive is not about fear, worry, or simple subsistence. As we begin our Advent journey, we focus on the prophets of old and listen to the prophets of today. Those who are custodians of our best hopes, desires, and dreams of our societies and theirs. Now, much of today's message and those that follow during this Advent season are informed by Brian McLaren's book, We Make the Road by Walking. And about a dozen of us gather to read and discuss every Tuesday. Everyone is welcome to this conversation. McLaren teaches that to be alive is to desire, to hope, and to dream. This is the way that faithful folks throughout history have always lived into their faith. McLaren writes this: desires, hopes, and dreams inspire action, and that's what makes them so different from a wish. Wishing is a substitute for action. Wishing creates a kind of passive optimism that can paralyze people into a happy fog of complacency. Everything will turn out fine. Why work? Why struggle? Or plan? Guess what happens to those who don't work, struggle, or plan? Things don't normally turn out the way they wish. Now, this is true even of our poor Linus and the Great Pumpkin. Now, Linus actually took action. He wrote his letters to the Great Pumpkin. He went and told other people. Even when his older sister Lucy, who those of us who are familiar with Schulz and the Phoenix know, is always kind of crabby, right? Lucy said, "There's no truth in that. What are you doing? Don't be so dumb." Yes, she used words like that. But then she said, at the end of your letter, make sure you tell the Great Pumpkin I try to be good too. So that was more of a wish on Lucy's part, right? And When we think of wishes, we often think of birthday wishes. I know even when I was young and blowing out my birthday candles, and even to this day, I don't usually just make a wish. It's actually a prayer for me. Because in prayer, there is real hope. There is action. There are things that I promise to work towards and to be ready for. Our youngest nephew turned 18 last week. And one of the pictures I got of him as he blew out his birthday candles was him doing this. And I think it's because he forgot to make a wish and then he blew out his candle, so he's trying to get the smoke in. But it looked like he was praying over his cake. And I thought that was very appropriate, that prayers of hope, of true things we are going to work for, to struggle with, and plan for, that is what people of faith do. We hope. We don't wish. A wish to end gun violence is nice, but without real action to decrease the number of assault weapons, we will continue to average almost 3 mass shootings each and every day in the United States. To wish for world peace is fine, but it won't get us any closer to the realm of God. However, action-filled hope will move us towards a time where the wolf shall lie down with the lamb, and we can refashion our swords, spears, and other instruments of war and violence into plowshares and pruning hooks and other tools that benefit common good. A time when nobody shall learn war anymore. Hope is action-packed. I know I was part of a group not long ago, and I wanted to have the whole focus of this interfaith meeting be on hope. Like, oh, hope is weak. I said, no, it isn't. Hope is strong. Hope is action-packed. Hope is what people of faith do. Because we have mistakenly equated hope with wishing. Hope is action. A wish is simply saying, I wish this to be true, but I'm not going to do anything else about it. We don't just simply wish for world peace. We work towards it by being peacemakers, by bringing peace into our own lives and into our communities. We don't simply wish that everyone has a full stomach, but we hope that we do, so that we act and plan, and we bring in boxes of stuffing and cans of green beans and cooked turkeys. Even this plant-based person cooked the turkey because the one who wanted to wasn't feeling well enough. So yes, I have not eaten meat in over 35 years, but there was this turkey that was promised to be cooked and brought on Thanksgiving, and the rain was not long enough to do it. And so I did it. I cleaned it, I prepared it, I cooked it, I brought it in. The whole time, praying, God, we thank you for the sacrifice of this poor bird, knowing that it would bring hope and sustenance to others. That's what got me through. It was hope in what would come from it, not my own discomfort in preparing this bird, that I had not done such a thing in well over 30 years. But it also gave Daniela an opportunity to touch a plucked turkey that she had never done before. Although she too, she said, I feel like if I touch it or pinch it, I'm going to hurt it. I had to break the news to her that it has no head. It does not feel anymore. But hope is the way of people of faith, is it not? Especially in this time of Advent, this time of our adventure, if you will. To be alive is to hope. And it's not just about lighting a candle, it's not just about a word on the wall or our Christmas decorations. It's about how we live. It's about listening to the prophets that have been sent to us of old. Of course, we love the words of Isaiah that were read from Luke. We love the words of Zechariah and Daniel and Amos. And they all have different imagery of what the kingdom of God will be like. We have prophets that are newer, more contemporary, like Martin Luther King Jr. and Reverend Bishop Barber. These are people who give us hope for today, not empty fog of complacent wishes, but hope that is true in our God. When we work towards building God's kingdom here and now, when we work to be peacemakers and bringers of peace right now, when we call out and say, this is not right, and we write to our legislators, and we cast our votes for those who we believe will work more towards the common good, when we degrade racism, we decry anti-racism, and not just not to be anti-racist, but to be pro-reconciling. It is not enough to say, oh, I'm not racist, but we must work to be anti-racist. That racism never has a place, because as long as racism and homophobia and other such evils, anti-Semitism and Islamophobia is the cause of many of these mass murders we are seeing, as long as that is here, it is hard for people to hope. It is hard for people to, without faith, and even those of us with, to continue working towards building God's kingdom where peace prevails and justice is the standard. To be alive, to be truly alive in the adventure of Jesus is to have a desire, a dream, a hope for the future. It is to translate that hope for the future into action in the present and keep acting in the light of it. No matter the disappointments, despite the setbacks and delays. So church, let us begin this Advent season by lighting a candle for the prophets. The prophets who proclaimed their hopes, their desires, their dreams. Let us keep the flame glowing, strong in our hearts, even now. May it be so. Amen.
Christ, whose glory fills the skies, Christ, the everlasting light, the Son of righteousness rising in triumph o'er the shapes of come, thou long-awaited one, in the fullness of your love. Loose his heart undone by shame, and I will never be the same. So here I'm waiting on you. All our souls longing through and through, and day springs from on high beneath. They start in my heart of peace. Dark and cheerless is the morn, till your love in me is born. Joyless is the evening song, until Emmanuel has come. So here I wait for you, all my soul longing through and through. Days spring from on high, and days start with my heart beat. So here I wait for you, all my soul
As we are recipients of the generosity of God, let us share our generosity with each other and the community in the receiving of our tithes and offerings. I invite our ushers to come forward now and receive the gifts for God from the people of God. Oh God, for the wondrous ways this offering will bless this community, we dedicate these gifts. For the ways it will help us live out God's mission, we dedicate these gifts. Let these gifts strengthen our call to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with you. Amen. And now, as we prepare to leave from this place, let us be reminded that we have not been to church, but that we are the church. So go forth with the gift of hope, guiding you towards the path of peace. Go forth with the gift of joy, guiding you towards the gift of love. Go forth with anticipation and expectation, trusting that God will bless you and keep you, and God's face will shine upon you, and God's grace will never, ever leave you. Amen.